All right, so there were a lot of mixed reactions to Zach Edey being drafted ninth by the Memphis Grizzlies, and you have the experts saying, oh, that's a C minus draft grade. You got fans saying Edey's going to be a bust. I don't understand it at all. I think the floor for Zach Edey is really high. I can't claim to know what his ceiling is going to be, but if I had to predict, I'm confident in saying I think Zach Edey, God willing that he stays healthy, has a really high floor, and I'll get into why in a minute. But let's start with this first matchup in the NBA Summer League against Walker Kessler. He outplayed Kessler. Kessler was first-team All-Rookie, was second in the NBA in blocks this past season, and they played very similar minutes in the head-to-head matchup. And Edey put up 14 points, 15 boards, 4 blocks to Kessler's 5 blocks. But I also saw Edey put Kessler through the hoop on a dunk. And we saw in crunch time, yes, Edey missed an easy dunk, but he persevered. And a few minutes later, he bulldozed through Walker Kessler on a free throw to tip it in to send it into overtime. They didn't win, but I thought it was a really solid showing by Edey against a really good player in Walker Kessler, outperforming him. And that's a promising sign. I saw Edey also use his left hand on a move, and to me, I also think Edey has a better repertoire, a better bag than anyone realizes, because in college he was double and triple teamed so often that he only had so much time to make his move, and a lot of times it'd be that jump hook using his right hand. But I think there's more to his game than anyone realizes. And moving on to the next point, let's talk about Edey versus Donovan Clingan. Everyone seems certain that Donovan Clingan is going to be a surefire, solid NBA player. Okay, if you think that, why not Zach Edey? Because at the NBA Combine, every athletic testing event, Edey outperformed him. And let's not forget that he's a few inches taller. He weighs 20 plus more pounds. He has a longer wingspan. He outperformed them in their head-to-head battle. He put up 37 points and 10 rebounds in the championship game to Clingan's 11 points and 5 rebounds. And yes, Clingan's team won. Clingan was on a much better team with more options, but Edey carried that Purdue team to the national title. And when they were playing one-on-one, Edey was far too much for UConn. UConn made an audible and realized that they could not put Clingan on Edey in single coverage because Edey was exposing him. He was showing moves out of his bag we've never seen before. He also threw down a dunk right over Clingan's head. If you think Clingan is going to be a solid NBA player, why would Edey not be a solid NBA player? I understand Clingan moves fluidly on the court, but Edey's more athletic than him. The numbers don't lie. I just don't understand. And let's talk about a guy who's carved out a really nice career in the NBA who, if he can do it, why can't Zach Edey do it? Steven Adams, right? Obviously a different player than Zach Edey, but Adams is in the NBA because he can run the floor well. And I believe, before I start this, I believe Edey measured in at 7'3" and 3/4 height-wise without shoes, and I believe Steven Adams was 6'10" and a half without shoes at the NBA Combine when he measured. All right? But Adams is in the NBA because he can run the court, he can provide muscle on the boards, grab rebounds, and he can protect the rim. All right? I think Zach Edey can do all of those things at a higher level. I think that he could be a rich man Steven Adams. If Steven Adams in the modern NBA without much of a jump shot can have such a nice career, why can't Zach Edey? Let's compare their combine times and measurements. Max vertical leap. Steven Adams 33, Zach Edey 31.5. Let's remember Edey's about 7'4", Adams is 6'11", so that makes up for it. Unless also wingspan. Standing vertical leap. Adams 28.5, Edey 26. Once again, size and length make up for that for Edey and then some. 3/4 sprint, Steven Adams 3.40, Zach Edey 3.42. Shuttle run, Edey actually beat Steven Adams in this, 3.01 for Edey, Adams 3.02, right neck and neck. And then lane agility time, Edey beats Adams pretty comfortably at 11.19 versus 11.85 for Steven Adams. So you look at the combine testing, he's right there with Steven Adams. And the reason I bring up Steven Adams is he basically does what people are expecting Zach Edey to do, but he's much smaller. And despite being about 50 pounds lighter than Zach Edey, they are relatively similar athleticism-wise according to the NBA Combine testing. I think these numbers are really intriguing. And with Zach Edey, something that needs to be considered is, one, he's a workhorse. Two, he has shown the ability to play a lot of minutes and carry a heavy load for Purdue. And I just don't think with the gifts he has, with his ability to move at his size and with his work ethic, his determination, I just don't understand how he will not be a good NBA player. I am confident that the floor is really high for Zach Edey. Like I said before, I don't know what the ceiling is, but I guarantee the floor is high. And come back to this video a year or 2, 3, 5 years from now and let me know if I was right or wrong, because I am confident that I'm right and that the haters and the losers are going to be wrong on this one big time. And that's all I got for you. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. If this is your first video with me, make sure to like and subscribe for more college basketball and basketball content, and I'll see you next time.